Hey guys, today we're going to be installing some rock sliders for our X3 Max. These are the Can-Am BRP rock sliders. They come in two pieces, so you got to bolt the two pieces together, but right before you put them on the machine. First of all, what we'll do is you'll unwrap them and everything and take the hardware, and I've got the hardware laid out over there, and I'll show you what goes where. But first you locate the dimples that are in the actual machine. There's one here, two, one up a little higher is three, then you'll have one back here on the bottom, and then one there. So there's 5 total dimples. That's the area where you're going to cut your holes. It's a little nerve-wracking because you're about to put 2-inch holes in your machine. So just be sure you hit it correctly, and I'll show you exactly where to put it. You need a 2-inch hole saw, which I have here. That's the size of the holes you're going to be cutting. They're definitely bigger than what's going to bolt in because you need room to move them around. So in the instructions, it's a little unclear. You'll see the dimples. You're going to come 1/4 of an inch above those dimples, and that's where your drill bit is going to hit. So do not just start and put the drill bit right in the dimple. You're actually going to come about 1/4 of an inch up. And as you can see going down through here is kind of your guide. The bottom 3, you're going to be really close to the skid plate. So what you need to do is just basically come up to almost where that curved part is, and that's where you're going to start your hole. The bottom ones, you're going to be at a little bit of an angle, kind of up, but the 2 here, and the one there and the one here, you're going to just go straight in. So what I'll do now is, this one, actually I'll start with the one back here, because this one, when you drill it, there's actually a piece of plastic behind here that you're going to have to cut out. So once we drill through here, you're going to have to take your razor knife in kind of behind here and just finish cutting the edges of that plastic out, so you'll have the solid hole through to bolt it to. So we just come up 1/4 of an inch, just kind of eyeball it and guess. You'll be fine right there. That's the one where you're going to have to cut the plastic. I'm going to do the 2 high ones first. The rest of them's easy, they come right out. Alright, there's your holes cut. Once we trim that one out, that one will be done. You can take like a razor knife or whatnot and peel this extra where it kind of just melted the plastic there to clean it up, make it look a little nicer on the outside out of each one of those. But back here at the back, as you can see, this one just kind of is hanging in there because of the plastic piece. So you can go behind here and you can see it if you get a flashlight especially, but I can kind of see it right here. Or you can kind of fold it back and see and just cut it the rest of the way. And there's the top piece. And the bottom piece. I'll take that. It may fall inside. It's actually inside the door, so we'll get that piece out inside the door. But you can see that there's the top and there's the bottom. You might want to trim it just a little to kind of make sure it doesn't hit your pipe when you stick it through there. That should be good. Next, we're going to put the actual rock sliders together. They come in 2 pieces, and you just pretty much put them in and then hook them together like that. It's kind of like a claw type deal on the top, and the bottoms just slides in. You're going to take these bolts that comes in the hardware. They are, you got 2 Allen head bolts and 2 locking nuts there. So you'll just take, those are the Allen head bolts, and then you'll take them, and there's actually on each side, there's a place for the nut and a place for the bolt. So one will go in from the outside. I'll lay this down and grab my socket, and I'll put the nut in here like this. fits in there just perfectly. You just kind of get it started. Just tighten it, you know, nice and hand tight. Then you'll run the other one the other way. Look this way. Bolt there. Alright, get those hand tight. And then you'll lay it down, and then you see your other two bolt holes. Just make sure those are lined up. You may have to wiggle it a little bit just to get them to line up and kind of get it started there. Make sure it's not cross-threaded. It's good and started. Now just give it a squeeze, make sure it's together good. Go ahead and cinch these down. It says in the instructions do not tighten, but once you put them on, you can't really tighten them unless you have a really short Allen. But it's going to be, the holes are big enough to where it'll move a little bit and it'll be fine. So just kind of snug these down good. Okay, after you get those two bolts and these two bolts in and tight, you're going to take this piece, which is kind of a stud type with larger threads on this end and smaller threads on that, and you're going to take these two 10mm nuts that are supplied in the kit and screw them down on there and basically leave a little bit of, and you're going to twist them together, kind of tighten them together. You're going to use this to tighten this stud into the very far back post that goes through. So you're going to take this and thread it in here. So just do it by hand to make sure it doesn't get cross-threaded. That's pretty straight. Then you're going to have to take a 10mm wrench, open end, and put it on the bottom nut, and then take this and you're going to loosen it to break it loose, and then take them off. Save those two nuts because you're going to use them for the other side to put the stud in also. All right, now when you actually mount the rock sliders to the machine, it's a lot easier if you have two people or one person to help you. This can mold. So he's going to grab his end, and let me open this door. You need the front door open and the back door open, so you can be able to see on the inside. And the one with the stud, you're going to kind of walk it through there and work through. And I actually see the stud on the inside, and he's pressed his. You can get his to go through the hole. Okay, once you get the actual rock slider in and you're holding it up against it as far as you can, the bolt from the stud is through. You're going to take these type of washers that has the arch that goes around the actual roll cage. You're going to put the first one on, then a flat washer, and then the little small 10mm nut on top of it. Just be sure to turn this washer where it's going to be the correct going around the roll cage. Just put that on there and hand tight it, and that'll stay there. And then we'll go to the front, and then the easiest one to reach, since the seats are still in it, is this second one. The front one you're going to have to reach from the bottom. But what I'll do is I'll take the larger bolts that are provided. I think there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 total of these bolts. And then the curved washers also. Put the curved washer over and you'll see where that goes in. You'll see the slot on the inside there. Just put that bolt through there. You may have to kind of wiggle this to get that bolt to start to line up perfectly. That started, and then just turn it as far as you can get it by hand. You're good there, and then you'll take the next bolt and go to the front up from the bottom and screw it in. This one's a little more difficult because there's a plastic piece that's in the way, but you just fish the bolt up through there and there's another slot the same way. Okay, got that through. You may have to push up on a little piece of a plastic thing on the bottom to get that, and you just kind of wiggle that. I feel it, it feels like it's already starting. So just get it started, several threads by hand. Okay, got that one started, and then we'll just work our way back to the next one. The next hole is this one. This one's pretty easy to get to because it's open right here. So just put that in. I got it started. Tighten it as far as I can get it by hand. Okay, and then you'll take your last bolt, and your last one is here. You can reach it from the top, but there's also a slot to the bottom if it's a little easier to get through the bottom. It'll be easier to tighten it from the bottom because there's a hole there. Then tighten that one while wiggling it just to get it started, and tighten it as tight as you can get it by hand. All right, once you get all the bolts in it, basically I would start in the center and tighten the two middle ones first, and then tighten the back ones. Then you'll have it secured to the machine, and then take. What you can do here is if you didn't tighten these, if it came a little bit tight, I had to actually loosen these so it would come apart just a little bit to be able to fit through the hole correctly. You're going to have to get just a short Allen wrench to reach this inside and really tighten it down. And then you're going to have to use a short torque wrench just to tighten those two Torx bolts down once you tighten everything else. Once you get that done, you do the same exact thing for the other side, just opposite, and you'll have them installed. If you like this video, hit a like at the bottom and subscribe to our channel.